The pandemic has really put accelerated focus on the students' needs, as well as what institutions can do to support them. So I think about the job market. Before we even get there, we think about what experience do we put our students through and how do we support them to get to that job. And one of the things that I'll go back to the example that Brian shared of having a resilience course. We need to think about our well-being of our students, their ability to have that grit and self-care. I have the pleasure of working for an institution almost entirely focused on healthcare, both in nursing as well as in graduate programs. And we've seen the value of our nurses on the front lines and what they have to deal with. So one of the things that we are working on is integrating grit into our first year experience course. So it's no longer just about being academically prepared, but it's being prepared as a person to enter the university and then to enter the job market. As a university, we also think about how do we support the students and how do we meet them where they are. So during the pandemic, we launched a communication platform that allows faculty and students to communicate via text message, whether you have a smartphone or not. Now we have lowered the barrier of communication and provided that sort of digital equity that a student, when they need help, as they need help, they can get it from a faculty in near real time. That doesn't mean our faculty are on 24/7, but it means that we took away some of those barriers of communication. And as far as fair evaluation process, that has probably been the most difficult aspect of the pandemic is how do you provide students the skills, attitudes, and knowledge and values almost entirely in an online environment? And I think the answer in healthcare is that it's likely not possible entirely on an online environment, but our students and our faculty have found creative ways to do that. So when we used to demonstrate skills in person, we've deployed YouTube videos produced by the university for our students and the world to share on how these skills can be performed. And what we found is that our students have those videos on the iPad and iPhone, and then they have the supplies that we send them home, practicing, on a pillow dressed in a t-shirt with the equipment that they would use in our skills lab. So I think the job of the university, the job of our faculty and our institutions is to think about how do we prepare the students and how do we provide the right experiences. So traditionally, when I was leading an instructional design team, we'd think about instructional design and we'd think about building courses and courseware. Now that I have transitioned into a role of innovation, we hire learning experience designers, thinking about the entire experience for the student and what we want them to go through and perform and demonstrate before we get to the outcomes that we're desiring.